so you can find a seat.
Yeah.
Vacation week for all of us.
Yeah. Okay, first off, as always, we start with a prayer. And I have my uncle-in-law, Harold Hembry, who is a young 95 years old. He's been a preacher for longer than any of us have probably been alive. And he's retired now, but he does give me a prayer for the meeting, right?
Yeah.
See, I didn't ask. I assumed you were going to do it. Come on, give us a prayer. Yeah.
The beauty of this day, our Father, we pause to give thanks for your abiding presence in our lives, for the opportunities that are ours in living in this great land. We thank you for the blessings of freedom and the hope and the possibilities for peace. We ask your blessings upon us as we gather here. Enrich our lives through the one who comes to speak to us, and use us in your service, and keep us in your loving care, both now and forever. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Michael? We'll have Taco's own hero lead us in the pledge. Michael, shots.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Michael.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see. We've got a few people I want to introduce. Number one, Stephen Phipps, as always, back here in the AV booth. He controls everything, the air conditioning, the lights, the sound system, so he's a good guy to be friendly to. And we wouldn't have this venue if it wasn't for him. And let's all give him a hand for all his extra efforts. Takes a big bite out of his month to come down here and help me do these. Okay, let's see. First one that we've got a short speech from is my friend James over here. James is with Americans for Prosperity. And also, Michael Morrison, my good friend in the back there, he's their main lobbyist under the Capitol Dome, and he's a good guy. James, you're on, buddy.
Hello, everyone. I'm James. I'm the grassroots coordinator for Americans for Prosperity. If any of you are unfamiliar with Americans for Prosperity, we're a grassroots advocacy organization. We fight to make life better for everyday Americans by pushing for policies that encourage individual liberty, economic freedom, and limited government. So here in Oklahoma, we've been working to reduce the burden government places on our families and our businesses. This year, we led the charge to get the state on the path to zero income tax so that more Oklahomans can keep more of their cash. And we also worked really hard to support the REINS Act. We helped draft some of the bill language and support our policy champions as they push that through, which will cut down on the ability of our unelected bureaucrats in state agencies to enact regulations that can cause damage to our businesses or make some people infringe on some of our rights. And we're not stopping there. So over the last 4 years, we've been fighting tirelessly to move school board elections to the November. So it's where more parents and more grandparents have the ability to vote and to be more active in their children's education. And we've also been pushing for expanding the school choice tax credit to help enable more parents to put their children in education options that best fit their children. So it's efforts like these that mean less government overreach. It means more room to grow for businesses, to raise a family, and to invest in future with confidence. So here at Americans for Prosperity, we focus on real change, and we do it by organizing with communities and with people who are ready to make a difference. So thank you for your time.
Yeah, on the moving the school board elections, just a brief note here. I heard Kyle Hilbert, the speaker at OCPA Thursday, and he specifically talked about that bill, and they've been working on it for several years, and they get a little closer each time, and we're a little closer this year. It's like my favorite prayer, Lord, give me patience, and I want them right now. So, but it's, a republic is all about compromise, and it's better to compromise something and get part of it than to throw the whole thing down the garbage disposal. But anyway, we just got to hang around. I think that will eventually happen. Okay, and also the RAINS Act. I personally, when I hear RAINS Act, I think Doge for Oklahoma, because that's what it's about. It's about pulling the power from these bureaucrats who are running the whole world right now, or have been. So, AFP has been absolutely instrumental in both of those efforts. Michael, did you want to say anything?
I would just follow up and piggyback on that, and I'd say that the RAINS Act is what ensures you never need Doge in Oklahoma.
Yeah,
right?
there you go. That's a better way to
like
put it.
that, and you know, reining in the executive, or excuse me, the executive branch is a good thing, and the administrative state always needs checks and balances.
Amen. Okay, and then we have one other, and then we'll get to the main show. Michael, come on up. Everybody, this is Michael Norman. He's running for District 38, which is John Pfeiffer's old seat. In case you're not aware, John termed out this year. And Michael knocked on my door about, I don't know, a month, 6 weeks ago. He didn't come knock on Terry's door. He came knocking on a door. And we ended up having about a nice 20, 30-minute visit. Anyway, I told him he's, since he's going to run in this district, any of my meetings he shows up at, I'm going to give him a couple of minutes at the top to introduce himself and say a very few words. And it's all yours, Michael. Michael Norman, everybody.
Thank you. I always like to start out, I am not a politician. So I'm a husband, a father, a doctor, a teacher. I teach 7th and 8th grade boys. They're kind of special needs boys, so it kind of requires a little extra patience. But what I kind of live in central Logan County, and me, my wife, our children, we live in a place we want to live the rest of our lives. And I've got a practice in Guthrie, and just what's going on right now, and we kind of talked about the unelected bureaucrats and everything. I can sit around and just start complaining about the world, the rest of my life, and sit on my couch, or I can just get up there and try to do something, and kind of show my kids, that it is worth standing up for. So my 16-year-old is my campaign manager, so he's driving me all over District 38. It's huge. So it's one of the biggest districts in Oklahoma. So he's don't tell anybody, he's got his driver's permit. He doesn't have a driver's license yet, but he's got his permit. So if I'm with him, it's okay. But he's helped me knock on all these doors. So we're doing some door knocking right now.
Did he drive you today?
No, he didn't drive today.
If he does drive you sometime, have him come on in. I'd like to meet him.
I couldn't get him out of I couldn't get him out of bed.
16, it's understandable.
But I'm going to be a little different than all the Republicans that I'm up against. I've determined not to take one penny of lobbyist money, and really, really fight to just give the district back to our voice, and out of the corporate special interests, the lobbyist hands, and just really, really reflect our voice. And it's being received really, really well on the doorstep, and people really, really are kind of hungry for a change. They're kind of upset with the status quo down at the Capitol. I'm a big believer. We do not have a revenue problem at the Capitol. We've got a spending problem at the Capitol. And my goodness, I mean, it just angers me. And this has helped me channel my anger a little bit, is actually try to do something about it. But they're taking our taxpayer money and they're just spending it with complete disregard. So that's a big part of what I stand for. Also very pro-life. I want Oklahoma to be the first abortion-free state in the U.S. and really lead the way. And I think the blessings that'll come from God, that'll rain down on us for accomplishing that feat will be unimaginable. And I think it'll spread all over the country. So a lot of core issues that I feel real strongly about, but just get back to real conservatism. We always hear Oklahoma's the reddest state in the union, but when you look under the surface a little bit, it's not really so. So just conservative principles is kind of what I want to get back to. So thank you for letting me say a few words, and I'll get off here, and God bless you.
What's the name of this meeting?
OK2A, Second Amendment.
So what's your position on the Second Amendment? That's the most important thing to my crowd.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. Too many restrictions on Second Amendment. We need to have more freedoms. We need to have more freedoms with Second Amendment. We need to be able to protect our families. And I've got another story I'll come back again and tell you later about a tyrannical government encounter. Second Amendment is our absolute lifesaver. So 100%. So thank you. God bless you.
Michael Norman's the name, everybody. Okay, then one other thing I want to cover before I turn it over to Lisa. State question 836, XQ 836. Engrave that in your brain. If anybody asks you to sign a petition to bring that onto our ballot, decline and walk away. It's what they call a jungle primary. Has everybody in here heard of ranked choice voting? And the most important word in that name is the first word. It is rank. And our last governor's election, if this primary system that they're trying to institute, if it had been in place, we would have had 2 Democrats to choose from in November. Because there were like 10 Republicans, they split the vote up, and that's how this works out. That's why the left is pushing it. So just remember that, SQ6, tell all your friends, 836, SQ 836. They just recently had a change in the statutes determining how petition votes are gathered. And before, they only had to put up tables in Oklahoma City and Tulsa and get enough signatures to get on a state ballot. Now with this new law, they have to go to rural counties. I think they have to at least sample 25 counties, if I'm not positive about that, but they have to get votes from petition signatures from other counties. So, but it's real important. This is going to be a very, very, very important battle between now and next November. Okay, anybody got any questions on that before I turn it over to our guest? You know what, Michael, do you know who wrote the bill? The one that changed it where they have to get signatures from various counties, not just Tulsa and Oklahoma?
It's a state question. I'm unsure who drafted it, though.
Yeah, that's right. So we can find out. Look it up when you get home. It'll tell you. Okay, any other questions? All right, Lisa, come on up. Lisa is running for the Labor Department Commissioner, and this may not be the most exciting branch of our government, but it has a profound effect on our state economy, on every employer in the state, and on every employee. So that's going to cover the vast majority of people. But before she gets to her campaign talk, I thought I would ask her. Her father fled Iran when the revolutionary government took over. And she speaks Farsi, which there's not a whole lot of people running around that speak Farsi. Anyway, she's got close connections, intimate knowledge about what's going on in Iran. So I asked her if she didn't mind spend a few minutes kind of bringing us up to date on that, because Iran's been in the news a whole lot lately.
You think?
Okay, thank you very much. It's all yours.
Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you all for having me. I appreciate it. So a little bit about what's happening in Iran. I know we're seeing on the news the nuclear issue and the bombing in Israel. And And several years ago, I held an event thanking President Trump back when they killed the general of Iran, Soleimani. And I remember a lot of people were so upset about it, and America needs to mind their own business, and so I was like, I need to have an event educating our community that this is a good thing and why it's a good thing. I didn't bring it with me. I would have known. Even President Trump sent me a letter thanking me for having the event. And so people have to understand that Islamic regime is the head of this snake, of this terrorism, or in the Middle East. And when Obama and Biden sent billions of dollars to them, is what's feeding them, right? What's getting them to continue this hate and these crazy things that they're doing. The Iranian people want this to happen. I know that sounds crazy, but they're dying there every single day, from just women. If they walked out with my hair this way, there's military people on the roof, which we showed at my last event, pictures. They're shooting innocent people walking if too much hair is showing. Okay, these people are dangerous.
Amen.
And so, and I think July 12th, I'm getting with a couple people, we might have another event just to kind of go in depth about it. So whatever the news media is saying or making this seem like this is not our place, and it is, because these people are training a lot of their people to hate the United States, and they chant death to America all the time. They paint our flags in their staircases, so when people are walking, they have to walk on our flag to disrespect our flag. So I can go on about it. There's so much, but just know the Iranian people are happy what President Trump is doing. I get videos from family all the time. People are dancing and celebrating in the streets, giving cookies out, and really embracing. They're happy because change is coming. So if anyone has any questions, I don't know if that covered, but just know it is sad. People are losing their lives, but they are very happy that they see a light at the end of their tunnel. So, yeah. Does anyone have any questions about Iran?
Is there something that the United States do that can promote that idea? What are we doing?
Honestly, I really wish that they would just go in and take out the supreme leader and just end it, because like I said, if you cut the head off the snake, it's gone. We're just cutting all these little pieces. Just go after him and end it.
I think council.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Would the Shah's family be accepted by the Iranian people?
A lot of people like him, the Reza Pahlavi, but the big discussion is he's never managed or ran anything, let alone a country. He just came in, he was born into money. So is that someone who can run a country? So I don't know, but the Iranian people say all the time, they want this regime to change, and I think it's their right to figure out who they want to put in office and run their country. But maybe Reza might be an option, but I just know a lot of people are scared because he's never done nothing to this level. So, yeah.
Thank you for that.
No problem. Okay, so I'll go into, we have just a little PowerPoint to kind of go with it. I met a lot of you before this, so I'll say it again for those who I didn't talk to. My name is Lisa Janloo, and I am running to be your next labor commissioner. So here's a little bit about me. I'm 35 years old. I'm a business owner. I own Midwest Copy and Print in Midwest City, Oklahoma. And let me share something a little funny about how I got into that business. When I decided to run for labor commissioner and kind of going over budgeting and what I needed to do, how much money I needed to raise, the biggest red flag to me, just your yard sign, your typical 18 by 24 yard sign, enough, just a base point to cover the state of Oklahoma. The lowest estimate I got was $150,000. It about took the wind out of me. $150,000. That's, not even people's salary anymore, So, I always joke, the Persian side of me, we always try to figure out another way. I'm gonna run, but I don't want to ask people to spend $150,000 on yard signs that you see blowing down the street. I don't want to waste nobody's money or mine. So after weeks of researching and trying to figure out just ins and outs of how to run this campaign efficiently and effectively, I got a phone call from a friend of mine. And he called me and he said, "Hey, Lisa," he has cancer. He said, "This chemo, I'm not able to deal with it like I used to, and I need to turn my business over to someone." And he's known me many years of the community work that I've done and from businesses, and knew my dad. He said, "I would love for you to take over. I want my customers in good hands." And I said, "Well, look at God." I said I was stressing and trying to figure out what I could do. And Mr. Fred called me to take over, and I've taken over. So I don't want to waste no one's money, and now I'm able to have my business put into my campaign and do this effectively and efficiently. So that's a little side of how I got into copy and printing. So let me go. I also have 3 children. I have 2 girls and a boy. Nothing teach you patience and discipline like having 2 middle school girls. Boy, they give me a run for my money. But the baby, my son, he's very simple. He said, "Mommy, if it ain't Jesus, football, or fishing, he don't want nothing to do with it. He just leave him alone. If it ain't one of those 3, he's not part of it." So I grew up in Oklahoma. I was born in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Then later moved to Spencer, Oklahoma. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Spencer. It's the eastern Oklahoma County. That is where I stepped into my community role in District 97 in Spencer area, Midwest City. My dad owned many businesses, which taught me and instilled in me hard work and community. Let's see. While I was living in Spencer, here's some of my accolades. I was vice president of the Spencer Chamber of Commerce, which I helped bring many businesses in the city. It's a small town of maybe 4,000 people. I was a board president of the Star Foundation. If you're not familiar with the Star Foundation, they are a nonprofit that help men and women who have been incarcerated or juveniles that are in trouble get on the right path. And so I led an initiative with the Star Foundation and some construction companies there in Oklahoma City. We partnered with Metro Tech, a technology school, and figured out a way how to, for those who weren't able or didn't have transportation to get to tech school, to do, to be electrician, plumber, we managed to work all that out. So when they're coming out, they have a second chance and learn to be good citizens again, right? And so with my experience, I'm standing before you today and running to be your next labor commissioner. I believe that our labor system should work for the people and businesses who keep communities running. I've seen the struggles firsthand, which is why I feel the need to step up. I want fairness in a workplace, equity, and better future for all Oklahomans. Now, before we get into my plan, I want to share with you today a couple things that a labor commissioner does. Now, when I announced my candidacy, the major questions I got is, what is a labor commissioner? What do they do? They're not familiar exactly with what a labor commissioner is. So let me break down a little with my research, experience, and actually dealing with the labor department. The labor commissioner protects workers' rights. Now, this ensures fair wages, safe working conditions, and that child labor laws are being followed here in Oklahoma. So if there's a complaint about any of these topics, I would launch an investigation and would take proper action to reach a resolution immediately. The labor commissioner also oversees workplace safety. There are safety programs and inspections for public employers and contractors to help prevent accidents. Now, they're also responsible for inspection of elevators, amusement parks, spoilers, etc. So when, the fair comes into Tulsa or Oklahoma City, they go through the labor department to come and get all that checked and make sure everything's running smoothly. The labor commissioner also educates and mediates training for employers and workers to solve labor disputes that escalate. So they won't escalate. So maybe employees can work it out. And lastly, a labor commissioner handles licensing and regulation. They are responsible for issuing licenses to contractors and subcontractors. So if you have a big commercial project, the labor commissioner office would issue the license and inspection for those work sites to make sure licensed workers are being used. Listen, I'm not here to sell a dream to anyone. I just want to make sure everyone knows who I am and the role of a labor commissioner. A lot of times when these positions are up and people are running for them, I think some things get mixed up. I know a lot of times people in the labor commissioner seat come out and say, I want to change this law or I'm going to make this happen. But the truth is, a labor commissioner don't make the laws. They just follow what the legislators put in place for them to follow. Now, here's a little bit about what I want to do if I'm able to be your next labor commissioner. I want to lead programs that connect young Oklahomans to vocational training, mentorships, and real job experiences. Now, like I said, I have 3 kids, and a lot of people, my peers, my age, are like, how are you getting your kids to get up and work or mow the grass? Or if one of my daughters was here with you, she'd be shaking all of your hands, looking you in your eye. But it's because, fortunately, she has a mother and a family that still instilled these, now you could say, old-fashioned values that are gone. Now, kids don't want to do nothing but be on a computer or play a game anymore. So at school level, having these programs teaching young children how to work, or there's other options besides college, or bring in, and I know the city, I'm not sure on this side of the state, but even 4-H programs back into the schools. As labor commissioner, I will support your business first and penalize last. What I mean by that is I will work hand in hand with businesses across Oklahoma to ensure they are educated, supported, and equipped with the tools to comply with the labor laws. Now, as a business owner and a family of business owners, what I've also experienced is when you're new to it, there's no handbook they give you. This is A, B, or C, and you need to do it. A lot of it is you're trying to scramble around and figure it out. And so sometimes what the state might want to penalize you for was an honest mistake, and if maybe you knew the information, it wouldn't have happened, right? So as labor commissioner, I want to be able to provide those resources and tools because our small businesses are backbones of our communities. So I want them to succeed. Now, there's an issue that many of you may not know that's happening, and if you do, that's great because I have a petition hopefully maybe you all would love to sign. During my time in community work and business, I had the opportunity, because I speak Farsi, I got a call many years ago to come work with a lot of refugees that were coming here in Oklahoma. And a lot of them were Afghan refugees. And I really didn't understand what was going on and why they're here and why so many were coming. So I really take that job as a blessing because it really taught me a lot. Now, how many of you know or knew that when a refugee comes to the United States and didn't work a day in their life, and they're 65 and older or have some kind of disability, they can automatically get Social Security? Did anybody know that? No. Yeah, it's in section 207 on the IRS or the Social Security page. You could look it up. Asylees, refugees, they can, there was many clients we had, literally 68 come here, could barely walk. They took them to the Social Security office and they got approved. In weeks. crazy. We have so many Americans that work years and then have to fight years, pay attorneys, and still don't get approved for it. Now, I have created a petition and talk with Congress, some congressmen and women, that we need to get that changed. Now, I am a strong believer. If you put into the pot, then you take from it. But if you don't, then wait a little, put in, and then take from it too. But I just don't think it's fair. So if you would like more information about me or want to follow my campaign, you can visit my website, Janloo for OK Labor. I'm also on Facebook or Instagram, and I have some material in the back and business cards. And Terry knows my cell phone's on there. I will answer your call. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to speaking to you all again. Thank you.
Q&A, and those of you that are regulars know how that works. Raise your hand, I'll call on you. Please get your question right away. If you want to make a speech, come talk to me afterwards, and I'll book you to speak at one of my meetings. Okay. Oh, and also, Stephen, do you have my phone number to put up there?
Can't right now.
Oh, okay, that's okay, don't worry about it. If you're watching online and you want to ask a question, text it to me, 580-670-0357. Okay, questions? John?
Well, first of all, you talked about equity. You're not into DEQ, are you?
DEI.
DEI, I mean.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And I'll give you an example. There's not one time I won't and will not bring up I'm a woman, I'm a mom of three. I'm literally a peer from my experience and knowledge, and that's what I run on by, my worth.
Well, I didn't think you would.
I'm a firm believer in that.
But my question was, what I wanted was, your thoughts on illegal aliens in the workforce and those who employ them.
So I had started, was playing around with some different things because, again, working with refugees, because refugees are legal. But while you're doing that kind of work, you run into other things and you see different employers that are employing the illegal immigrants. And I don't think there should be no mercy. I mean, those employers should be penalized immediately. I mean, you're breaking a law, and the illegals should go back. I mean, there's no in between for me. You're breaking a law. You need to go home.
Consequences.
Yeah, I mean, and the problem with a lot of our government and people in office now, they say these things are out there, but they're not enforcing it. We need people in there that are going to enforce it and make it happen.
James?
What are your thoughts on increasing the minimum wage?
So I've had this question before. I looked into it, and another thing about me, I'm not just going to blow smoke or just tell you something, just what you want to hear. I think it is something that needs to be said. It's deeper than just saying should it be higher or lower. I don't think it should be a huge increase. I know the last 20 years there was no increase in the state of Oklahoma, and before then I think it was going every year at 20 cents increase before 20 years ago. Cost of living is really high, so if it brings to the table maybe another 20 cents. I know Social Security, if I'm right, or correct me if I'm wrong, but they also with inflation increase on Social Security. So
Every year.
do I think a little? It's been 20 years. Yes, what that little means, I don't know. I think that's when people should be at the table. But do I think it should be $20 an hour? No, because I think there's a bottom and a high for everything for a reason. If that helps answer your question.
Charlotte?
I'm curious, on your, I read that you wanted to work with companies to invest in our youth and for the future and for these businesses. In order for the businesses to be successful, they have to have employees that are worthy of working at your company.
Yes.
And what I've noticed, I know Terry's gonna probably stop me on this, but because it's probably gonna take 2 extra seconds. I think training, businesses will have the economy and be successful if they are successful in their training of employees. When you walk up to a counter at a store and they just stand there and look at you and don't say, hi, can I help you, or, you know, whatever, I think it starts there with the training.
Training is important, but also attitudes.
Yeah, well,
in
I
that
mean,
regard.
that's the whole
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
I agree. I actually was telling my campaign manager, I said, you know, our kids at my 8-year-old at school, everything's on iPads now, right? They don't use pen and paper. So if we, as our communities and government, think, hey, we're giving our kids these technology, they know how to use it, we need to start training them the basic fundamentals to get them ready for the workforce just as early. The kids these days are so much smarter than I know when I was in school. And unfortunately, a lot of them, from my experience working in the schools and with kids and families, the parents need the training too. So if somehow we can educate the whole family, not just part of it, will be effective.
Would you be willing to work with the education department, trying to maybe get some kind of a program in the schools that carry, that cover these basic?
That's my number one.
They need metal shop,
Yes,
they need
On
wood
that?
shop, they need auto mechanic shop, they
On
need
that?
HVAC in the high schools, where these kids can get out of high school and start making $75,000 a year. So,
Actually, if you look into me just a little bit more, Oklahoma City was trying to pass a bond of $1 billion and for Oklahoma City Public Schools. And I really fought against it because the $1 billion, you know, your property taxes are going up because they basically wanted to do a facelift on a lot of the buildings with Oklahoma City Public Schools. And I said, how about use that money to bring in programs like that? Because the building is not what is teaching our kids. So I agree with you.
but that's the
Okay.
teachers union behind all of that.
Yeah,
They're, the only thing they're not interested in is teaching the kids.
that's right.
They're interested in every other aspect.
okay.
John again.
Yeah, who makes up the employees that would be under you? You'd be the head of the Labor Commission. What are you over? I mean, are there departments in the Labor Commission that, who enforces everything? I know you don't,
So
you just oversee it.
I spoke with someone with the Labor Department because that was a question I had too, in case someone asked. I want to know how to answer that.
Well,
But I heard
asked
there
you.
was 80, Tiani, if I'm wrong, correct me, was it 80 employees within the Labor Department? But the Labor Commissioner oversees all of them, correct? And
Okay.
with many different departments,
So
from
you
licensing.
oversee those individual departments, and there's 80 of them.
Yes,
And are they the ones that go out and enforce?
yes, from my understanding, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Michael?
Yeah, just a point of clarity, I wasn't clear on the answer for James's question. You would support, the government stepping in and increasing the minimum wage in the state of Oklahoma?
I mean, when, the thing is, that's not the people of Oklahoma should determine if that's what they want, okay?
Okay.
One, that's they should, if they
There's a
decide,
state question.
yeah, this,
Right.
which is in June, I think, right? Is that
No,
June
it's-
primary, or did they move it?
I think it's, yeah, it might be June, but it's this year,
So,
or this upcoming year.
the people should decide, and then secondly, my question is, when they decide that, who's at the, because I don't know, I'm still learning, who's at the round table, who's deciding, like I said, what that amount is, because no, it shouldn't be $20 an hour, we're not California, we're not, so that is
My question is if you personally support,
no government.
so you don't support a minimum wage increase?
I do,
You do support a
I
minimum
do.
wage increase?
I do,
Okay.
but not my government. Every year, we've had a 20-cent increase. Until 20 years ago, we've had 0. And I know each and every one of us in this room have experienced the prices going up. But like I said, it's not a cookie cutter, it's this amount is gonna go up. Who's at that table making that choice, and how are they making that choice? By what information, what are they going off of? We can't follow what other states, we gotta only follow what's going on here in Oklahoma.
Yeah, and just one more follow-up, and I appreciate you answering my question. What would you say to people that would make the argument that when you increase wages, you increase inflation automatically?
No, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know, but, and I'll be honest with you, and I don't know if I agree with that, but I don't know in depth how that works or handles, so until I get more information then I can give a clearer answer to you.
Well, we live in a capitalistic society, so if it costs me $3 to make a cheeseburger today, and it's gonna cost me $3.50 tomorrow, am I gonna take money out of my bottom line, or am I gonna pass it on to the consumer? And the capitalistic society would say, I'm gonna pass it on to the consumer.
That's what happens.
Anything to keep us out of communism.
Bill, you're up.
Yes, Ms. Janloo, thanks for coming. The representative here in District 38 who's being timed out, Mr. Pfeiffer,
Yes.
is, I have heard, running for the Labor Commission.
Right.
Are there many different seats on the commission, or are you running against him, or how does that stack up?
Well, yes, him and I are running against each other, and there could be more people right now. I believe it's just the two of us.
I think they have till April, isn't it, the deadline to
Yes,
sign up?
till April.
And then the primary, we're not talking about a November vote. We're talking about a June vote. Michael, thanks for coming, man.
Hey, thank you.
Back on Dios.
Then it only follows, you're in District 38, why, we might want to vote for our former representative. Can you compare yourself to him, please?
Okay, well, I don't like to seem, I'm very straightforward. When people get to know me, I just kind of say how it is, but I don't want to seem coming off. Your current representative has been in his seat 12 years. As a legislator, you draw drafts and bills and laws, right? You put those in place. The way that I have been working with businesses and people and communities, how the system is set up on the labor side, I haven't seen nothing put in, with all due respect, from your representative that could change those. Now, him coming as a labor commissioner, he can't make any laws, he can't change any laws. He can work with other representatives, but that is the difference. I feel as if I'm coming from a legislator seat and I'm asking, vote for me to be your labor commissioner, I want to have backup to say, I've helped pass A, B, and C to make labor force that works for you, your neighbor, and your community. Now, I wasn't a legislator. I'm just a mom that owns a business, but I can show you and I can give you references of the work that I put in with Metrotechs, with school districts, with business owners, and with the labor department fighting against corruption in our communities on the labor force. So that's my difference between your representative and me.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's great.
Any other questions?
Did I understand that there are 80 departments within the labor department?
There's 80 employees.
Oh, 80 employees.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Actually, I've sent an email because I want to meet with Commissioner Osborne. So I have a list of questions I want to ask.
Let me know if and when that happens and how it goes.
Yeah.
Has he been responsive?
I haven't got to her. I'm gonna email her. I talked to someone in her office, so that's how, a little bit that I know about the 80 employees, but I wanna hear from her and exactly how that's going and get her insight.
Having some experience around the Capitol, the level of arrogance is phenomenally high. So that's why I said I'd be curious. Well, I'm being a realist.
Being real nice.
Yeah. Yes, Bill?
I'm sorry,
No,
one thing
don't
I
apologize.
didn't get clear, the labor commissioner, is that a single seat?
Yes.
Or is
Yes.
there a commission of many seats?
Yes, it's a single seat, but oversees 80 employees.
Thank you.
Yes,
And you report directly to the governor, correct?
yes.
Yeah. So she's second tier command at the state capitol in this position. Okay, any other questions?
I think we usually have a whole lot more people, but I think it's vacation week.
You got off easy today.
Yeah, you did. Today.
Well, again, I have my card and number, and really, I'm not just saying this to get brownie points. I will answer your phone call. I will answer your questions, and if I cannot, I will be honest with you and say I don't know, but I will get back to you once I know more information about it to give you my honest opinion, so.
Make sure you grab one of her flyers and then you've got all the information to contact her. So is that it? Okay.
All right. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you for coming. And, yeah, you're welcome. How about going to barbecue? You wanna go eat?
Well, I just follow you.
Well, Harold and I are going to, Danny's Barbecue over, on, Prospect near 14th. Anybody wants to join? They've got a little separate meeting room there, so we can kinda have a room to ourselves. And the barbecue brisket is excellent there, so are
I'd
the
love for
ribs.
Lisa to come, because I have some questions I'd like to ask.
What's that?
I said, we ought to invite Lisa.
You're welcome to come over to the restaurant if you want.
Is that all me?
That's it.
That's
I have
it?
another event I gotta get to.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brad.
Yeah, so,
Brad.
I know Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we got an hour and a half.